We're coming off the heels of one of the most exciting and some would say nostalgic movies ever made, Deadpool and Wolverine. A movie for second chances with more familiar faces than inside your girl's DMs. And would you believe it or not, players, this past weekend had more in store for us in the second chance department. San Diego Comic-Con took place among a plethora of things that occurred, like the Superman shirts completely selling out there, our first looks at the Fantastic Four First Steps movie, including the whole crew in costume and Galactus. I really wish I could include the pics I saw, guys, but I'm afraid Kevin Feige would come at me with one of his strongest spells, and I truly can't afford any more of that. Whatever this was during the Cap 4 panel, I know, right? Pretty weird. Well, strap your fat asses in, players, cause it sure got a whole lot weirder. And what started as an insanely epic panel took a sharp turn into something not bad, but not necessarily good. Something more wackadoo. We not only got the reveal of the new title logo for Secret Wars, which, you know, it's nice, but I kind of like the other one a lot more. The silver, I felt, went hard. We got the replacement title for Avengers 5 Kang Dynasty, now Avengers Doomsday, which I think I saw they bathed the stage in green, which was absolutely epic, but they revealed that not only would the Russo bros be coming back for a revival tour for both of these films, but that RDJ himself would return, not as Iron Man, but as Victor Von Doom. And collectively, the internet shat its pants. A lot of people did not like this casting because it felt like a desperate move by Marvel to get people hyped to go see the movie because of a returning favorite instead of an actual interesting casting. The guy who started the whole damn show, hot off his Oscar win, would be back, as well as the Russo bros, who, although have been having some trouble outside of the MCU, have been responsible for some of the biggest and best MCU movies ever, and just comic book movies in general. So it was a seemingly extremely safe move. Now, people have been saying Marvel is doomed, pun intended, of course, you know, we can't help ourselves around here, that this is horrible casting, Marvel is over, all sorts of hyperbolic shit like that. Now, does it seem desperate? Yes, absolutely. They, in a way, went the safest, most non-innovative route they could have gone. I think the biggest draws about those movies before San Diego Comic-Con was, besides the titles and what that would mean for what we would get to see, but the chance of seeing a new director take on the mantle so that we saw their version of all these characters interacting, and their vision of an Avengers movie and a new, greater threat than we have ever seen before. I know Sam Raimi would kill it handling Doom, but now we'll have maybe even another decade of people saying shit like, we need the Russos back for Avengers 7, and then we need RDJ back, he can save the MCU. The MCU actually listens to their fans, unlike DC, which I absolutely hate that dialogue. Look, I love RDJ, but I got a whole trilogy and then some of him as Iron Man. I got him saving the universe in the most epic way possible. I got my fix of him as Iron Man, okay? Him coming back, other than to interact with some newer characters and legacy characters in Secret Wars, is just not something that is necessary or really a big desire for me. Him coming back as Iron Man has no real bearing on how good of a movie the Fantastic Four is, or how good of a show Daredevil Born Again will be. You know, the MCU doesn't need one special actor back. It just needs to take their time to create good stories that people give a fuck about, and that will secure the MCU's future longevity. I think they went a little off with trying to recreate their Guardian success of introducing new characters that could go from the abyss to the A-list, amongst a couple different issues that occurred during Phase 4. But now it seems like we're returning to true form with the emphasis on mutants and hopefully other iconic characters people have been clamoring for. I actually do think that RDJ is going to kill it as Doom because of how good of an actor he is. The whole idea of taking the greatest hero of an entire universe and making him come back as the greatest villain is actually pretty intriguing. And if it's the case that Secret Wars ends like Secret Wars in the comics, you can have RDJ's version of Doom erased for a new actor to come in and play. You can essentially have him pass the universal torch, and with Pedro Pascal's Reed creating a new 616 that would birth new versions of the characters we have grown to love, so that new stories can be told, and hopefully from the jump we can have a more cohesive universe that we really couldn't have just because the X-Men were with Fox, which is what I'm hoping happens, okay? There are a very limited amount of individuals I need to remain in the MCU after they reset with Secret Wars. I think, and I am hoping, the plan is to show how complex and calculated, conniving, determined, and ingenious a threat and character Doom really is. I've been reading up all on Doom. I still haven't finished Infamous Iron Man. I am reading Triumph and Torment right now, and it is an absolutely beautiful story by Roger Stern absolutely amazing, and it really, I think, encompasses what Doom is all about. So I would highly recommend reading that. It was amazing. But to do that, get a bunch of current MCU actors and legacy Marvel actors to share the screen, play in the sandbox together, and then you start a new MCU after, preferably with new actors playing most of these roles that we have come to know. I think people are resistant to change until they're not, okay? Like, there's always gonna be people that will say that only this actor can play this role. And I think that's backwards as hell. Of all the joy every different incarnation of Batman, Spider-Man, Superman, or the Hulk has given to people, it just tells me this mentality is defeated with time. So ultimately, the MCU is doomed, okay? Like, we are getting Doom, and then it's gonna be doomed when it literally resets via Secret Wars. And I'm completely fine with that. Look, the RDJ casting and the Russo bros coming back is lazy as hell, but it's definitely not bad. I think we are gonna get some good movies, but I think because of the poor response they had gotten from some of their riskier projects and everyone else seemingly rejecting taking up the mantle to direct the Avengers movies, you know, they basically said fuck it, dumped all the bands on RDJ's porch and doubled down on what they knew would work. I do think he will eventually be back as Iron Man during that same time, not after, because I know they want him as Iron Man with all the legacy heroes like Toby and Hugh Jackman. I think that's just too good of a thing to pass up. I think they want that. Take one last big swing with everyone who never got to interact, and then lean heavy on mutants and Fantastic Four in the new universe and slowly introduce the replacements for the OG Avengers. Actually have a legit plan this time instead of making shit up on the fly. But yeah, those are my thoughts on what's happening with the casting. I'm very excited to get my Doom knowledge up. I'm gonna be reading a lot more of that. He is a baller and a beast. Let me know what y'all thought of this, whether you like it or not, or are just kind of indifferent like myself. Any predictions for Doom are welcome, but that's pretty much it. If you liked the video, leave me a thumbs up, comment down below, and if you want to subscribe, I always appreciate it. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope all of you guys are well, and I'll see you in the next one.